Hey, this is James from All Hail Internal Combustion. I'm gonna keep plugging away on the Ford here. We're gonna be pulling the entire front clip off of this truck because I've got a set of new fenders for it, or let's call them good fenders. They're repops, but I want to put fenders on it. I got the hood off my other truck on there. We sold the hood that was originally on this truck because we don't need two hoods kicking around. So that went a couple days ago. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start pulling the grill assembly out of this thing. And let's get started. Basically all you need for this is a Phillips screwdriver. Yay tools. So the first thing that's going to come off is our headlight bezels on both sides. And got a screw up here on the top. Another one over here on the side. And when I put this thing back together, I'm going to get stainless screws to put it all back together with. That way they all match. Because a lot of these screws are factory and they're rusty and they're nasty looking. And I'm going to go ahead and pull this one here. As you can see on this truck, Junior did a LED headlight upgrade on it. These are actually the headlights that we bought for the Dodge. But since we don't run the Dodge around that much, he wanted to go ahead and put those headlights onto this. A lot of times people forget these bottom screws on here and they go snatching the headlight bezel off, and these plastics from the 80s are very, very brittle and they will break in a heartbeat. So we got a little bit of a problem here because the lance panel is shoved up a little bit. So it's kind of blocking us from getting that out of here, right? But like I said, I don't want to break it because these things are getting to be kind of a pain to come across in the junkyards and stuff. I had a pair that were backups, and unfortunately something fell on them in the shop and they got broken. So all I did was reach behind here and undo my turn signal marker lamp. These lenses on these trucks are replaceable, so if you got really beat up nasty ones, you can replace them. These are just old and dirty. They're probably going to get run again. So we got the driver's side taken care of. And I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same thing on the passenger side. Get that out of the way, and then we'll work on getting the center of the grill out. Alright, so I got the headlight bezel on the passenger side out. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove the center section of the grill. And you got to keep an eye out for this because it's not just held at the top and the bottom. There are some screws here in the field that you got to pull out. I used to take a lot of these grills apart. I worked in a body shop when I was young, and we used to have a contract with a car dealer up in Delaware, and we used to constantly get these 80s pickup trucks in there that needed a fender done or a little bit of accident work. And back then I was usually the guy that had to strip everything down and get ready for the body men to do their stuff. So I do know my way around these older Fords. Got one here in the middle. And this particular grill, I think, is the one that I pulled out of our old 85 that we had for a while. Because I put it in here because it didn't have the big oval Ford logo in it. I'll leave that in for a second so I don't just lose it. Another one here on the top. And back to the corner. And another reason we're pulling this thing apart is I'm going to double check and make sure the radiator support and all that's good. I think we're going to put radiator support bushings in it, just to make sure the front end's sitting level after we do the work, and everything's going to be power washed and cleaned up real good, because we are planning on keeping this truck, especially because it's an extended cab. Do have 2 grandkids floating around, and Lacey and me and Junior, and this truck is nice because we can all just jump into it and fit. So there we go, got the grill out. And now what you got is you got these upper and lower aluminum pieces that are in here. I'm going to go ahead and pull those out too and set them off to the side. That way when we refinish everything and paint it all, these aren't in the way. A couple screws hiding over here on the side. And boy, they are going to be angry. So we'll go ahead and take the rest of this top one out. There's our top aluminum piece. Got 2 more screws to get here. Boy, that one was rusted in there. And hopefully I can get this other side out. Thank you. Amazing how tight a screw can be after it's been sitting for how many ever years. So that's it. You got headlight bezels, center section of the grille, aluminum upper, aluminum lower, and that is out of the way. What else I'm going to do to it is I'm going to take our headlights out of it just so they don't get broken while we're working on it. And these, you got a spring down here on the bottom corner, and I'm going to go ahead and grab pair of needle nose pliers, get that, and then work the headlights out of it. Now how these older headlights work as far as adjustment and what holds them in, you've got a screw up here on the top that's got a shoulder on it that holds against your bezel or your inner bezel. That takes care of your up and down. You got the same thing going over here on the outside, and that takes care of your left and right. And then down here on the bottom there is a spring. Usually it's kind of an angry spring, but this spring isn't that angry. So now that I got the spring loose, I can slowly start to pull the bezel off the adjusting screw like that, and then that one comes down. Then we go inside, and these plug in different than a regular headlight, but then you would just unplug your headlight. And we want to make sure that we keep our spring, because I'm sure I could get one aftermarket, but you know what? I'd rather just keep the crap that I have. So I want to make sure and put this with the light so that it doesn't get lost. Something else fell out while I was fiddling, but I don't know what that was. I'll figure it out. But that's how you get the headlights out of this thing. So right now, we got pretty much everything stripped out of the front end of the truck, so we can move on to get the fenders out. So I was wondering what fell out on this side that I didn't see at first. It's one of these little plastic clips that goes in here. It's supposed to be one here, and one here. And these are kind of like what your headlight bucket rides against, so that you don't have metal on metal contact. This one is broken, won't go back in. There's already been one missing, and I got one up there. I will probably try to find some online to replace them with and just do them all, because once the radiator support gets cleaned and all that, I'd like to have some new parts into it. So next I'm going to jump into pulling the fenders, but I gotta wait for Junior to get home so he can help me lift this heavy hood off of here, because I'm not gonna break my back trying to take that off by myself and the wind catching it and blowing me across the yard and crippling me even more. So we'll be back. And before I started this process, this truck used to have a set of push bars on the front of it, and the one on the driver's side was really mangled up, and it had a really long bolt that came through here and went out to the push guard. So I just went ahead and cut that off, and I cut the one off on the other side. We're not going to use them anymore, and I'm not going to bother to try and look for it. I do have a bumper off of my old truck that's going to go on to this one. So this one, since it's straight, will probably end up getting sold if somebody wants it. If not, we'll send it on down the road. And what I did, since we're going to be pulling so much of this truck apart, is I started a bin. We get these plastic bins like wherever we can when they go on sale. And they're nice because you can wipe your Sharpie off and relabel them for a lot of different projects. We use this particular one on the Prelude, on the Civic. Now it's going to be getting used on the F-150. So I got it labeled as to what vehicle it goes to. And that's where I put my headlight springs so I don't lose them. And this box will go in the truck and stay with the truck until it's all back together, because I got a lot more body bolts, and this will probably just be for body bolts. We'll do another one for engine fasteners and stuff like that when we get to pulling the motor out of it. Alright, so the grill assembly is completely stripped out of it. The lights are stripped out of it. So that's going to go ahead and wrap this up on how to take your grill and all that crap out of your early 80s Ford truck. So we'll see you next time.